Welcome back, part 2 of our ad account breakdown. Today we're going to get into the structure, the bones of our ad accounts. Campaign level, ad set level, ad level. When we make cost cap adjustments, how we think about that, how we think about creative and launching new creative, and then when campaigns stop spending or ad sets stop spending, what do we do with those ad sets or the creative within those ad sets or in those campaigns? All the ins and outs of this, and let's jump in. All right, last episode I talked about just ad philosophy, how we think about audience testing, why we're leaning into ASC, why we use cost controls, if that's not already harped enough, thoughts around new visitor percentage versus new customer percentage, how we think about creative testing and how we give creative enough of a shot when we actually launch new creative. Today, we're going to get into the actual template. So for people that aren't on screen, I'll describe this a little bit. So what you see here is essentially up at the top is an ASC campaign in a rectangle. Now you have under that, you have 5 ad sets per campaign. Each ad set blends creative to diversify. So meta best practice, so creative diversity. I've talked about that in past episodes. And then under that long rectangle of 5 ad sets, you just see each ad set with 50 ads and diverse creative. And then ultimately on the bottom is winning ads that rise to the top, get majority of the spend in the ad set per campaign. So we're going to jump into this. So on a scenario where we get 150 assets, which is sort of a minimum for across the board, a couple of UGC creators will give us that close to it, that amount in total. Seeding typically lends to a minimum of 150 assets over the course of 4 to 6 weeks. Customer generated content can lead to certainly this amount. We're getting high volume, high frequency of content from a variety of different sources, typically all human forward creative. So in a scenario where we get 150 assets, right? Again, we're going to lean into ASC, YSC. Go back and listen to the first episode. But essentially, Meta's ASC campaigns are designed to thrive on diversity, broad range of creatives. This sets up well with alongside our creative arsenal. The algorithm can more effectively identify top performers and allocate the budget behind those ads. So this approach is better than having narrowly focused ad sets. So a brand, it might sound all cute and organized to organize each ad set by unboxing, static, tutorials, whatever the case is, or by different angles, persona types. It's not best practice. You want to have diversified. You want to leverage the power of the algorithm to maximize performance across a diverse set of creatives. So in that previous episode, and this kind of touch on a previous thing. So if we got 150 assets, right? And I'll touch on this as well as like typically ASC campaign didn't have multiple ad sets. So if you don't have this yet, treat these ad sets as separate campaigns. If you add new creative. So in this ASC campaign structure, we have multiple ad sets. We have 150 ads. Those gets divided by 3 ad sets. Immediately, compared to the rest of the ad account, we're running all of this content in an elevated cost control. I touched on this last time. Go back and listen to the previous episode exactly why. Essentially, we're trying to offset the favoritism that Meta would be showing to existing creative with data behind it. So as you see on screen, you'll see 50 ads labeled to a certain hypothesis, angle, offer, persona. That's in the naming convention. That's how we're keeping track of the creative type and the angle and the offer. Again, this campaign is cost controls work on a predictable AOV. So we separate campaigns by offer, and included within the offer is the product SKU. So if you have 5 different product SKUs with different contribution margins, we're going to have 5 separate campaigns per offer or per product SKU. You introduce 20% off. That becomes a 6th campaign at that point. Within each of these campaigns would have multiple ad sets with the creative that is applicable to that product SKU. We'll try to keep it as simple as possible. We're just going to have this one campaign, evergreen campaign. In week 2, we get 100 more ads, right? These 3 ad sets that had the elevated cost control go down to their target CPA, target cost control that we have across the entire ad account. Those go down after a week because if they haven't spent after a week, You're welcome for not continuing to burn your money. So we're going to lower those back down to the same cost control. With the new creative, again, that cost control is going to be set above the target with the new creative. So now you have ad sets 1 through 5, all with new creative. In week 3, we get 100 ads again. So what we have in here in this scenario is in ad sets 2 and 3, 0 spend. In ad sets 1, 4, and 5, you have $12,000 to spend, $4,000 to spend, and $16,000 of spend. In this scenario where we get 100 ads, we're only launching the creative into the 2 ad sets that no longer are spending money. Again, going back and listening to my previous episode around why we don't do creative testing and scaling campaigns. Within a cost control structure, every campaign that stops spending money is now a testing campaign. And basically every campaign becomes a scaling campaign as soon as it starts spending. In these campaigns or ad sets in these scenarios that stop spending money, we would be launching the new creative into those specific ad sets. Important note, when campaigns max out, we remove previous non-spending content and input new content. Once again, this allows us to keep our top performing content constantly within optimization, cash in on it, ride the wave. We need to strike while the iron is hot. Don't freaking touch the thing. So with this evergreen ad set, we're basically launching this creative structure with new content that doesn't have any spend in the ad sets themselves. So this is our current structure when it comes to across ad accounts. So to review, we have this template, ASC campaign, multiple ad sets per campaign, diverse set of creative in each ad set. It's all labeled in the ad level. And then winning ads, those are the ones that rise to the top. We're going to see that ad sets that stop spending money, those are going to be the ad sets that we launch new creative into in this specific campaign around a specific SKU or offer. And the ad sets that are spending, we're not going to freaking touch them because those are winning and they're achieving the success and target CPA that we're after. Another important point that I touched on last time is the new creative gets the elevated cost control within this structure. There's a problem today with too much fake UGC saturation. Consumers are looking for authentic reviews and content, and this is a way that you can stand out in your crowded market with authentic influencer content. So Cody here with an ad read for Get Cyril. So there's an explosion of D2C brands across categories. You got to be able to stick out. We here at Kynship actually use Cyril for influencer discovery, but Cyril is not just a discovery tool, but a way that you can search for brand aligned influencers, but reach out directly. You can manage them all in place. You can track performance all within one platform. So brands like Avi, Legends, Tab Chocolate are using them to get hundreds of creators talking about them on socials, and you can too. And in addition to that, all of our clients here at Kynship that are doing seeding are using that platform as well. So you can start your free 7-day trial with Cyril to get authentic UGC. Go check them out. In cases where a brand has only one product SKU, the strategy around what I'm showing or what I showed may involve creating a separate campaign to introduce new creatives without basically disrupting the optimization of the existing campaign. So very few brands are one product SKU, but there are out there, and we certainly have clients that are one product SKU essentially. We'd be separating the new creative into a separate campaign altogether, where we've already maxed out the ad sets. So this ensures that the performance of the main campaign is not basically negatively impacted. So if new ad sets or new assets are provided in that scenario, the existing ad sets are already optimized. We just keep this structure intact and introduce new creatives into a separate campaign. It basically maintains the integrity of what I was saying earlier, where it's just we're not touching the thing. We're riding the wave of performance. And the goal is to maximize the impact of top performing creative while continually testing and refining new creatives. That's the way that our structure is really working. This approach allows continued success and effective budget allocation across multiple ad sets and campaigns. And allows us to introduce new creative all the time, which is a weekly rhythm for us without impacting optimization. So you want to have a dynamic, flexible approach to ad campaign management, essentially updating creatives, adjusting cost caps, and monitoring performance. And so with this, we have a way that we can keep our structure and tasks while also testing new content constantly. So that is our new structure. And that is why we're doing the things that we're doing from this template. And we can share this as well. And we also have a resource where basically there's a cost control decision tree. Okay, when do I raise the budget? This is a argument to be made that we are always running elevated budgets that's protected by a cost cap. So we can have inflated budgets with a bid cap, cost cap, minimum ROAS. But when do I adjust the budget? When do I adjust the cost control? Hardly ever are we making adjustments. We try to keep within only every 3 days are we making adjustments. Things of that nature. So we actually have that resource. I'll put that in the show notes. And that would be closely aligned with what I just walked you through here. All right, everybody. Thank you guys for listening.